Hey guys, it's Delora Davils here, and today I want to do a review and side by side of Arthur Wang's True Black Tarot and the Ephemere Tarot. So this is a traditional tarot. This one's a not tarot. I love these, by the way. Cosmovisions I consider to be one of those bended tarots. The major arcana cards are different, and they are based off of the hero's journey, right? As a literary concept instead of biblical archetypes. You know, very specifically medieval Europe, biblical archetypes. So it's a different vibe, and I love the way that it is done. As you can see, this little white book has been read through like crazy because I'm just adoring it. The language of this deck and the context of the majors in readings has been reading so true to my heart. Like, as a writer, obviously, you know, I know what the hero's journey is. It's something I'm very, very familiar with, very drawn to. And I think a lot of writers and artists and bookish people are really going to love this deck. I will say there are some impractical aspects that I will talk about later, but I have these layered so that I can show y'all side by side these cards. Alrighty. Just getting used to my camera angle here, moving some things around. I might have to actually stand up and do this. Oh, that angle is awful. Oh my God, what is technology? Alright. Alrighty. Okay, cool. I like the way that looks. I am going to pause in between all of them so that y'all can just see it without all of the exchanging and whatnot. I will say this, that the Nemesis card is quickly one of my favorites and possibly one of my most favorite tower adjacent cards. Right, so these are the counterpoint cards. They reflect a lot of gold, so it's got the color on my camera doing funny things, but it's not, oh, that's not the right one. Haha, that's the right one. It doesn't say that they're connected to the Lover's cards, and I do believe that on the hero's journey you meet a lot of people, and there's really no place for a permanent lover that looks traditional on a hero's journey, on something that is more realistic and fluid with the world. So I really, really like, so you've got a female, male, 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 female, female, and I kind of like just his general androgynous kind of style. Like, yes, these are women, but they're not like overtly objectified, right? Even in this Lover's card here. So I really like the concept of the counterpoint cards, and I feel like it really brings platonic love that is deep into the equation when it comes to the tarot majors. Yes, and I will also say that as a queer person, seeing multiple representations of how relationships can work artistically is great. I'm not sure if you've noticed or not, but especially these cards here, just in these three right here, you can tell that several different body types, ethnicities, and stuff are being presented in this deck, which is always a plus in everyone's book. Yes, and I also just really like, so like the Emperor, and in this one it's the Victor, and it's not even male coded, right? Like, I like the gender bendiness of it. I definitely feel like Sacrifice and Hanged Man, it's a little bit of a more obvious one, but in a hero's journey, it's never just an accident, right? it is a knowing sacrifice. Yeah. Yeah, so death is death, no shocker there. I really like how the world has become this concept of legacy, and that the Wheel of Fortune, it was called Destiny in the True Black Tarot, and in this one it's the Continuum. I really, really like seeing these two side by side. So many of these cards really do kind of pop off of one another in a very visually artistic way. And next, I'm going to lay out the majors of each suit, and we're going to scroll across them and check those out. All right, so here we go. As you see, the motif is very similar from card to card. And then once you start getting, you get some cards that aren't similar at all, right? But I just love seeing them side by side, We're going to go down to the suits. So here we are with the wands. I do feel like there's a little bit more kind of Thoth styled there and there with the wands. I really liked that little extra bit of Thoth there. That was a little unexpected. Anyway, down to the court cards. I like that these are both still the wands, but this one is a much more commanding vibe, very much more intentionally intimidating, where this one is just vibrant and intimidating in that way, right? I think it did a great job on the people in these court cards this time around as well. And here we have the suit of coins. All right, and we have the suit of swords here now. I will say that I do just love seeing, again, the pips side by side. The way they kind of echo off of each other is so nice. I will say I think this is one of my favorite night cards ever. Like, just the pose, man. It's great stuff. All right, now that we've gushed and gooed and gawed over all of the artwork, let's talk about the card stock in this deck, side by side with the True Black Tarot. So look at that. It's got a significantly lower card stock than the other one by a decent amount. This deck is mostly unshuffleable for me. It's just too big. It's my hands just don't like it. There we go, that's better. My hands just don't like it. This is still thicker than what I like, and with the rose petal finish, it's still a little bit slippery, I'm not gonna lie. Not slippery, I mean like clumpy. And you really got to make sure you keep your fingers loose on these cards, because the minute you start to hold down too tightly, that rose petal finish, the friction will just snatch the cards out of your hand sometimes. As you guys can tell, I'm not a fan of rose petal finishes, but I'm willing to put up with it for Arthur Wang's amazing artwork. I would really like to see a more basic version of these decks with, like, I don't know, a good simple linen finish, maybe a pocket size. I like my little tiny smaller decks because, I mean, look at me. And that would just be great. But right after I had bought the True Black Tarot, I did email Arthur Wang about making the cardstock thinner. and he was just kind of weird about it. And by weird, I mean very dismissive and uncaring to someone who just spent $100 on his piece of work, right? So it is good to see that he is doing this in a thinner cardstock. Now, if we could just get him to stop using the rose petal finish, that'd be great. But I digress. What makes these cards unique from anything else on the market is that you really have to pay attention to what you're doing when you're shuffling. You can't shuffle absent-mindedly, and you're going to have to shuffle very calmly and intentionally to use these cards. So these cards are and can be used as a meditative training all on their own, and it is for that reason that I don't do readings for other people with this deck ever. There might have been a couple of times with a couple of people, but I really like to bury this one in salt frequently because I use it for not just regular divination, but like magical stuff. Oh, and my cat hair, because rose petal finish. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, I use this deck for reading energies of situations that are emotionally potent or ritualistically potent. If there's any kind of potent energy, this is what I want to use. This is what I feel like I get the best experience out of. However, this deck right here is quickly going to become like something that I use far more often than the True Black Tarot. This Ephemere deck is, it's delicious, man. Like the way that the major arcana cards just play around is just significantly strange. Okay, there's a good one. Oh god, that's another one. Haha, there we go. Trying to get some forced diversity in this test reading. There we go, there's a swords. And let's say for the purpose of this test that we get her in the middle. We get ovation in the middle, right? Visually look at that. These three cards right here, just these three together. So much vibe. So much vibe. And if we were going to read this, right, obviously we would say, okay, this person has actually met their goals, man. They are actually sickeningly, right, successful. They're getting all of the accolades that they've ever wanted. This is great, but they don't feel like they deserve it. Oh my God, the whole thing is just imposter syndrome. Such a fun way to read this 3-card set. And if you would like, we could do something fun in the comments and everyone could take turns interpreting the cards for themselves, these 3 test cards, and tell me what you think about this deck and if you like it and if you think it's worth investing in for your own collection. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this, and until next time, happy dabbling and bye-bye.